Good day and welcome to HVAC 451. My name is Joe Pacella, Associate Professor here at Ferris State University. HVAC 451 is our energy auditing class. This class, along with HVAC 499, at Ferris, they are known as a WIC course, W-I-C, Writing Intensive course. That means that when we set up the program for both online and on-campus students, we've put in two classes in our own program that are writing intensive, and that's removed from you having to take another English class. So you have to stop at English 311. And so in HVAC 451, what that equates to is we're going to be doing an energy audit of an existing facility in Big Rapids. Our on-campus students did this audit about 3 years ago. And we've used that building and transitioned it to the online. So you guys will mimic doing an actual energy audit. And we'll get to that later on in the semester. We'll actually start the audit in about week 3. But the purpose of this introductory lecture is just to talk about the class and get you prepared to get started as we roll through starting this summer. So again, my name is Joe Pacella. I've been at Ferris since about 2005 as an associate professor. My background is HVAC design, done a lot of temperature control systems work, project management, and a fair amount of energy auditing in the past also. Now, what's interesting about this course is there's another professor that works in our group. His name is Professor Mike Corsell, and Mike actually wrote this class. He did the audit with the students on campus, and he put this class together for his on-campus, and occasionally Mike teaches this class, occasionally Professor Quillich teaches it, and myself. Typically us three teach this course over the summer. So this year I'll be doing it. And what we're doing is we're using Mike's information. So what you'll be seeing here is Mike's lectures as we go through. His assignments, in most cases, I've modified a few of them. And so, again, you won't be hearing my voice, which is probably good for you, and you'll be listening to Mike talk through the lectures. So what I'd like to do with this first lecture is to go over the course layout. We'll talk about downloading notes and listening to lectures, how to do the assessments in the labs and go through that. And we'll also talk about the syllabus. And that's really the only purpose of this first lecture. So if we go into the course real quick, we're over here in the introductory lecture. So I'm sure you've already clicked on this to listen to this. Now we have a home page here. It's got our syllabus information. We'll go through that shortly. When we look at, there's instructor contact information here, the home page, which we just looked at here, and then the lectures for the course, instead of being served on YouTube, we're going to try serving them through Tegrity. If we run into an issue, I need you to let me know as soon as you can. Tegrity, about 4 years ago, I moved most of my lectures over to YouTube because we were having issues with Tegrity being robust enough to serve. I don't believe we've had any issues in the last couple of years. If you run into it, let me know. I'll migrate some lectures over to YouTube, but I'm not planning on doing that unless we run into a problem, so you'll have to let me know. And if you look at the lectures here, you'll see it comes up to Tegrity. Actually, I've already got it opened right here. You'll see there's an introductory lecture that we're working on right now. You'll see that under week 1, we have Lab Lec 1. We have week 1 Lab or Lec 1A and Lec 1B. So keep that in mind, and then you'll see we've got lectures for the entire semester as we go through. So there's quite a few of them. Most of the lectures are 15 to 20 minutes in length as we go through. So that gets us with the Tegrity lectures and where they're located. The project information is located under this tab, and we'll be starting this in week 3. I'm not really going to go into that right now, but you're going to have full drawings, pictures of the building, utility bills, etc. are going to be located here. Under week 1, we'll talk about just one of the weeks, and then we'll look at the schedule for the entire summer here in just a minute. Under week 1, what Mike has set up for the class, which is actually really nice to do, is he's got our week 1 lecture notes. So if you click on this, the first thing you'll want to do is print these notes out. And I'm going to open this up for you here in just a second when it opens up. And what they are is Professor Corso has gone ahead with his Tegrity lectures, and he's put in a PDF there that you could download. And if you download the PDF, you can make notes along with it. So you can see this PDF is called Lecture Notes here. Taking a while to download. And with the lecture notes, you'll see that there are 3 slides to a page, and you'll be able to go ahead and make notes. And I recommend that you do that. Professor Corso does not put all the information in the class during his lectures right on these sheets, and you'll want to go ahead and flesh in some information on the side here. And notice how there's week 1, lecture 1A, and then there's week 1, lecture 1B in the same document as we go down further, right here. And again, that went with the lecture 1A and the lecture 1B there. All right. So you'll want to go ahead and take or download that file, print that file off, watch the lectures, depending how many there are. Usually you'll find that there will be anywhere from 3 to 5 per week that you'll be watching. You'll take an assessment. This assessment's a little bit different than the ones you've seen in the past in my class, and I've let this go to one. You're going to have 1 submission on this, and they're not timed, so you can take your time while going through them. But you get 1 submission on the assessments. And then the labs themselves, if you go into week 1 lab here, oh, by the way, all the assessments are 10 questions until you get to an exam. And we have lab lecture notes again, so you'll go into here, open up the file. You will go ahead and download or download and print that file off. And then you'll see there's lab information. In this case here, you're going to do an energy utilization index, which really looks at the BTUs per square foot that a building is consuming. And there's a spreadsheet in here, and then information on the utility bills from this building that you'll be looking at. If I can open this up, it seems to be lagging just a little bit. And in here, you will see the assignments. There's an Excel spreadsheet you'll be using, and you'll see EUI development form, a couple of PDFs. You'll want to download those. First thing you want to do is do the lecture notes, watch the lecture, go ahead and download all 4 of these files, and take care of the lab itself. Now, in addition, on week 1, I've got one other thing that I need you to take care of on week 1, and that's download the new Carrier HAP that's available. It's real important that you do this right away in the class, and the reason for it is Carrier occasionally will upgrade HAP just periodically. So if you decide to wait until later on the semester when we're going to use Carrier HAP to run some simulations on the building and review the load calculation for it, they might go to a different version. And I've had this happen in the past. It's really not pleasant to go through because then the entire class has to upgrade. And I don't just wait until that gets done, because sometimes if people have a problem downloading software, we can work it out. So what I have for you to do, or what I'm asking you to do under the lab itself, is to go ahead also and download the Carrier HAP file and upgrade it to version 5.11. There's at least a couple of students that did not start in the cohort. They were out of the class and jumped back in. So they're going to have an older version of Carrier, where most of the people in this class, I had you in the 342 class a year ago this past August. So we want to make sure that we're on the same page. So it's real important that you get this done. So if you click on this HAP link here, or excuse me, folder, you'll see a link and you'll see a download page. So if you click on this link, it'll take you right to Carrier. And this is a download information where you get your username and password. And again, when you come into this, if you're on a new computer that has not had HAP on it before, you need to download a thing called the XBuilder framework. And you'll want to do this first. And once you have that done, you will download the hourly analysis program and do a full install of that. Make sure your XBuilder is done first. If you try to do HAP and XBuilder is not on, it will tell you you have to install XBuilder first. So this is one thing, just an additional thing for week 1. that you're going to have to take care of. And it's not in your information in the syllabus, and I'll show you that in just a second. It's something I want you to make sure you have done. So week 1 is pretty straightforward. You're going to have those things to do, and you'll see the same thing for week 2 all the way through week 11. Every one of these weeks 1 through 11, you're going to end up having multiple lectures to listen to, some type of an assessment or quiz, and you're going to have a lab. Now, in addition, in weeks 4 and in weeks 8, you'll also have an exam to do, and the exams are in 2 parts. So make sure that when you get to week 4 and to week 8, you have time set aside because your week's going to be a little bit busy. You're going to have 3 exams, again, 1 in week 4, 1 in week 8, and 1 in week 12. So that just gives you an idea what's going on there. As far as the rest of this, we've got announcements that when I make these in the summer, I'll try to send each one of them as an email to you also. As far as the calendar, I'll click on that real quick so you can kind of see what we're looking at for the semester. Sometimes as a student, you won't be able to view all of these, but you'll be able to view differently in a grade book. What I've seen from a student's computer before is until the assignments are available for you to start working on them, they don't populate the calendar, but they do if you're an instructor. So if we look into here, classes start on the 15th. Well, I don't have something due until the 27th. And what this is week 1 assessment, week 1's lab, and Carrier HAP download. By the way, I didn't mention this. I don't believe the Carrier HAP download is bonus points. It's worth 15 points towards your labs. I want you guys to get that done, and I want you to send me an email after you've done it. And then you'll see the points show up in class. So you'll see 15 out of 0 points that go right to your labs right off the bat. All right. So you'll see that every Sunday night we have things due through the semester. Now, and you'll just see how they go. Week number 3, week number 4, we've got 2 things due there, plus you've got a couple of exams to do. So you can see the due dates as we're going through on every item as we go through the semester. And you can see that our final day of the semester is the 8th, but on the 5th is your final exam is due, and your last 2 things are due for your week 11. So one thing I wanted to go over real briefly with you. If you look at this, we're starting on the 15th. Your first thing is actually due here on the 27th. On the 15th, you're going to have week 1 open up, and you're going to have another week open up every week as we go through. I push these back a little bit to give you time. I know everyone likes to have a vacation in the summer. I'm trying to work with you as we can. Just know that you're going to have things due pretty much every week as we go through. So there's really no reason that you can't have week 1's information done here and bank some time when you're going to need it later this semester. Okay, in addition to that, if we have a chat session, there's a chat tool here, discussion board. That's going to start populating a different discussion starting in week 3. And what this happens to be is whatever lab we're working on. This is student-to-student communication. Feel free to use that. If you want me to look at some stuff that's going on, just send me an email and I'll jump in there and take a look. I typically don't go into the discussion board. Most of us professors don't do that. We use this to foster communication between you. Email is going to be the best way for communication this summer, and then the grades will be listed here. Okay? So what I'd like to do real quick is to go through our syllabus. And the syllabus is pretty straightforward. This is a 4-credit class, HVAC 451, Energy Audit and Analysis. We're going to look at utility rate structures, building energy consumption. We're going to profile buildings. We're going to do, it says an on-site audit. Yours is going to be a virtual audit. And that's our senior project and the part that is a WIC, W-I-C, Writing Intensive course part there. I should be able to get your emails on my phone in the morning and the afternoon. If you ask a pretty intense question that I have to get on the computer, you might not get an email till later on with that. If I can answer something quickly off my phone, I'll reply to that quickly. The prerequisites for this course really don't matter to the online students. HVAC 393 is our internship, and 126 is our math. But it's listed on there, but we're not following that with you guys. On the as far as texts, there are none, and reference, Professor Corso Mike Corso is a CEM, a Certified Energy Manager. As a CEM, they recommend 4 different books. This course is laid out in a similar manner to get through the CEM exam. So the information that you'll be getting in this class is real good towards getting your certification, but you'll want to purchase these books and use them as a reference prior to taking the exam. What we have here next is a shopping or to-do list that for each week as we go through. You can see week 1 dates when things are starting, and you'll see when week 2 is, week 3, etc. So this is when the modules are going to open up. And there's a to-do list. So you may want to print off the second page here and kind of click off as we go. Keep in mind that week 1, I did not modify this and put in the Carrier app download. But make sure that you have that done in week 1. Or when week 1's information is due, I should say. And you'll see as we go along, week 4 we have an exam, and that'll be 2 parts. In week 8 we have an exam that'll be 2 parts. And then they'll take a final exam or exam 3 also. I'm not going to read through all of our major units of instruction. This course does click along quite well. The way it's set up should work pretty well for you. Some students in the past when I've taught this have had a few issues with writing a good technical document. The good thing is there are examples in here. So if you're not a real strong writer, it might take you a little bit longer once we get to week 3. Week 1 and 2, we're not doing anything for our project as far as written. That's got to be looked at. So I would appreciate if you spend some time to really go through what you're writing. What works out real well for me when I do a technical document is I'll write it and I'll set it down for 2 or 3 days. And then when I pick it back up and read it, I can't believe how poorly parts of it are written, and you end up finding all kinds of different items. So a couple-day rule is a real good thing before you send your projects in on a weekly basis. But you'll see there's a lot of different items we're going to be doing for the class. There are lab topics by week as we go through. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just our grading scheme. And in the grade book, you should see this populating as we go through all the way. So each one of the exams is worth 15%. I don't have any assignments set up for you right now, but if I do, they'll be under assessments and assignments. And that's 25% of your grade. So all the quizzes you're taking will be 25%. Your labs are 30% of the grade. And you'll see the numbers as they go across here. I've probably mentioned this to you in the past before. I do not live in Big Rapids. I live 45 minutes north of there. So I will not have formal office hours. And I will also not be on my phone, my office phone down in Big Rapids. So if you call and leave a message there, there's really nothing. I won't get that very often. I do plan to come down in June to meet you when you're coming in for your week lab class. So I'm looking forward to meeting each one of you with that. I know I'll be down in Big Rapids once in July and then in August prior to classes starting. So I won't be down there very often. So, and I also know that I'll be traveling a couple of times to Washington, D.C. this summer. So just like you being busy, I'll be on the road quite a bit for the summer. And as I'm doing traveling, I'll try to let you know ahead of time when I'm going, just for the travel days. Sometimes I'm not available. I'm going to use the announcements in Blackboard for virtually everything that I'm doing, anything that if we need to shift a date. But you can see we don't have a lot of flexibility in this semester. Keep in mind, this class you're taking is designed as a 16-week class, and we're cramming it into 12 weeks. Some people have struggled with this course in the past. I think it's pretty well set up. We've been modifying it as we go through, but I would anticipate everything taking a little bit longer until you get the groove for the class and see how it's flowing for you. It's individual for each person. And as usual, all of us professors, we have the right to make any changes to the syllabus during the semester to accommodate the unexpected that might happen in our class. And any of these changes will be posted in Blackboard under an announcement, and I'll let you know what's going on with that. So that's really what I wanted to go over with you for the beginning of the class. I do wish everyone well. I look forward to working with you this summer. If you have any questions, please let me know. and have a great day. Bye.